All right, cool. Super overexposed in the back behind me, but I don't care. Anyways, this is so not what I'm used to making. I don't really talk about this stuff. Sorry for the background music. I'm in a shopping outlet area right now. But anyways, I recently got something that I've been eager to have, been dying to have, and I finally got it. It's super excited for it. I guess you would say it's a very unique trim. There's a subtle hint of what it is, because it is a limited edition. I'm gonna put air quotes on that because that's what I was told. I don't know if it's 100% true, but they only made a few, and they were just like, once they're done, they're done. So that's that. And if you're kind of wondering, let me kind of show you. So I recently just got a Rivian R1T Quad Launch Edition. This is the brand new 2026 model. As I said, it's a quad motor, so that means that each tire has its own unique, or not unique, it has its own motor. It's all-wheel drive. It's similar to like a Subaru and Audi. But the thing about this quad motor is that it's not really a major difference between a standard quad motor, but a few indications that kind of give it away. The first is that it has this blue color kind of surrounding the brake pads, the badging here, and then in the back it has it wrapped around the quad right here. This is called a Laguna Blue. And another indicator is that this little Sasquatch guy here, this is kind of, I guess you would say, the way it separates itself from other vehicles or other quad motors, because it is a launch edition. It is a 2026 model. The other indicator, actually there's not another indicator. Oh, yes, sorry, my bad, is this color green right here. So this here is the forest green that they had first, but then discontinued it and then brought it back because it was very popular. So that is just the major differences of this vehicle. Let's hop inside because there's so much I want to show you. Now we are inside in an air-conditioned unit. It's hot outside, but anyways, we're here. I'm super excited to show this car. I don't want to spend like a whole time of reviewing this car. I just kind of want to go down specs, cool things I like about it, and a few flaws. I think there's actually only 2 flaws, and then why I bought it, because you kind of have to justify your purchases. You can't just spend willy-nilly, it's crazy. But anyways, let's hop right into it. All right, let me pull my phone out because I wrote down the specs. Like I said earlier, this vehicle, in terms of specs, is not different from any other quad motors that you were to buy as of now. There is maybe one, and I'll get into that later, but other than that, when you compare this launch edition to a standard quad, they're practically the same. And that being is that they're both quad motors. They have, each wheel has its own motor, so it's all-wheel drive. So if one loses traction, it'll stop that and use the others to move. That's simple all-wheel drive science. Max battery is 374 miles per charge. It can be it varies between what tires you're using. So if you're using something that's all-terrain, it might be less. If you're using sports, it might be more. You get the point. It goes 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds, so it's pretty fast. I guess you would say that. It has 1,025 horsepower, so it has a lot of power. I think most vehicles I know have between 400 to 800, depending if you modify it and add more. The torque is about 1,198 per pound per feet. Sorry, that was so hard for me to say. Towing can do about 11,000 pounds. Payload is 1,669. And the one thing that kind of would separate it from any older generations or other models is that this now has the NACS supercharge, so you can use the Tesla superchargers around the country. Yes, sorry, I was about to say around the world. Around the country, compared to other models where you did have to buy an adapter. This one, and I know all the future models will come with this, so it's a really good plus, because then you don't have to carry around adapters. I have one. Not for the NACS, but for the older chargers, because they're okay, well, we know most of the chargers around the world that are not Tesla superchargers have the older ones, so they give you adapters. But that's one of the other differences if you have the Gen 1 quads versus the Gen 2, is that they all now have NACS. Now, I'm gonna go over a few things that I really love about the car. I will be transparent, I've only had this car for a few days, so I don't know a lot of things. I'm sure there's more that I will fall in love with shortly, but I want to go over the few things that I've noticed so far. The things I'm not going to really count on or make note of is the tonneau cover, the gear tunnel, the front. I feel like those are things that kind of already make you want to buy this car. I want to go over things in terms of a user experience. I'm also not going to go over the two like beautiful displays that they have, because if you have seen a lot of electric vehicles, they have these displays like Tesla's, Lucid, etc. So I'm not going to really go over them. I'm kind of going over the things that I feel like people don't bring up about, or they do, but they don't really like explain why. They just say like, this is cool, and that's it. The first things first is on the main display, you have navigations built in. They use Google Maps. I've been on and off with Google Maps. I use that, or sometimes I use Apple Maps, but lately I've been a fan of Google Maps. I feel like they've been giving much better routes when there is heavy traffic, or hey, like there's construction, go this way. But it does more than that, just didn't give you navigations. You can now then look up chargers. So like if you're running low on your battery and you need to charge real quick, you can then hit, there's a certain button on here where there's a little thunderbolt, you hit that, it turns on the charger, you can collect speed, you can say how fast the wattage you want, and then you can also change the network. You can say, hey, I want Rivian, I want Tesla, I want EVgo, etc. You can filter out them, super easy. Like I feel like they really thought heavily about when they were collaborating with Google Maps to be like, let's make this so fluid, so easily used, and that you can build filters like as you would in Google Maps. So the other item is that my phone is connected to my car because I use the app that you can download. But the cool thing about it, and it's because my ADHD brain tends to kind of like, how do I put this? Forget to lock my car door. So all Rivians with your phone or the key fob or the key card, you can do proximity lock. So when you walk a certain distance from your car, the car will lock for you. Now, like I said, I have a history of forgetting to lock my car because I'm in a hurry, or my brain just forgets. So this is kind of a nice big deal for me. So I'm kind of, like I said, it's super good for me in terms of how forgetful I am. Now, the other thing, this is so subtle, but when you get the Rivian and you lock the car door, it makes a chirping noise, which I really love. I think it's really cute. You can also change it to an owl, which is super cool. It kind of like plays on to that this car is not just a luxury EV vehicle, but it's a vehicle that is meant to take you outdoors and have adventures. And I love that they still play on that. I mean, the car itself, like when you go off-roading, you go camping, there's so many things in there that still play on that idea. I want to talk about the mobile app. The mobile app itself is probably one of the most fluid and user-friendly app that I've ever experienced for a vehicle. Everything you need to know is right there, and then you don't have to worry about skimming through things. I think it's just beyond beautiful. Let me pull up that app right now so you can kind of see it. This is the app. So this shows everything. Let me see if we can kind of get a little closer. So this is the app right now. It's still out of focus, but you can kind of see right now I'm at 54. You have everything from like gear guard, climate control. It tells you energy usage. You can then also navigate. You can like plan out your trips. And when you do that, when you plan your trip in your phone, it'll actually sync up to your navigation system in your car. But the app is so friendly. It's super beautiful. I think they did it right. I think they focused on, hey, let's make this car not just a killer car on the road, but let's make sure the user experience is top notch. All right, so of course, every car is not perfect. There is one tiny flaw that I'm kind of like, I wish they had it, but I know they're working on a solution. These cars don't come with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, so if you're used to that software, you don't have it. You can't text it or talk to text like you would on CarPlay. You can't read messages. I know from what I've been told from forums and from other people who are big Rivian fans, apparently they're working on a software that will kind of mimic that feature where it will just recognize your phone and then it will have like a text function so you can talk to text, read messages, because they know that like some people don't either answer phone calls or they prefer text. So they're trying to figure out a solution for that. I'm glad they are doing that, but it's kind of hasn't been brought up again. But I know they have had that conversation about like, hey, let's fix that flaw. So obviously the big question is, because I'm gonna get asked this by other people who see this car, why did I buy it? Now, as someone who does a lot of work up in LA, someone who moves around equipment themselves, because sometimes I go to studios that don't have lighting equipment, I'm carrying a lot of stuff. C-stands, strobes, flashes, Pelican cases, you name it, I'm kind of carrying it. Sometimes clients' wardrobes, because if we're going somewhere far away, like the desert, sometimes I have to carry their clothes. And that's also another thing, is that with my old car, I would have to take down the second row to put everything in there. If I'm taking C-stands, tripods, strobes, flashes, and carrying my equipment as well as like food or something like that, I lose that second row. And if I had to have a crew of 4 or 3, like, I don't have seating for them, so they would have to drive by themselves. Now having a pickup truck, having the back bed, and having the gear tunnel, I can store all that stuff worry-free, not worried about someone looking into my window and breaking into it, but I have still room to carry about 3 more people, and then I have my passenger seat. So for me, it's gonna make kind of going to jobs, whether it's just me or I'm bringing a second shooter or a crew with me, much, much easier. Now, I kind of went over it quickly, but also the fact that this car has a front trunk, a tonneau cover, a gear tunnel, there's another storage space in the back that you can open up. You can put a spare tire, but you can make it more of a storage space. The fact that there's more storage in this vehicle allows me to kind of like feel at ease if I'm storing my laptop, my camera equipment, my golf clubs, something important, that because I know it's going to be stayed secure there. When you look through these windows, you're going to notice pretty much nothing in the back seats or the front seat. So it's like an at ease for me to be like, okay, cool. If I'm in a area where maybe theft is high, I don't have to worry about it. Now, this is probably a dumb reason, and everyone's probably like, you're really just seeing first world problems. And I'm sorry, but I'm tired of paying for gas. Gas is getting expensive. I also forget to sometimes fill my tank. So now having an EV where I can just pull in, plug it into my house, and just not worry about going to the gas station has made it entirely easy. But that's not like the whole enchilada of the reason. But the thing is that I've kind of always wanted an EV vehicle. I've always been a big fan of the tech that goes into it. I know as we progress more into the future, we're going to see more of these vehicles on the road. We are also seeing standard manufacturers like Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Hyundai, Honda. They're now creating their own EV vehicles, which is a really good thing because they know a lot about how to build a vehicle. So we know that they're going to build it to a good quality. But that's in that conversation of that, the people building these EVs know how to build the cars. RJ is the CEO of Rivian, and learning about his backstory about how he's not only just a really brilliant and innovative person, he also knows how a car works. He when he was young, this is also me just diving into reading who he is as a person. He has a history of how rebuilding and fixing cars from the ground up. So he knows the anatomy of a truck, of an SUV, of a sedan. So he's not just being there and being like, let's build electric vehicles because let's just do it for fun. He does it because he has a mind of how an EV truck should look like, because he knows, hey, a gas car truck, this is how it does. Let's do that, but make it all electric. So it made me feel good that there's this person behind Rivian is not just some guy who's trying to make money or anything like that, but he's a very brilliant person who knows how to make a vehicle into an electric vehicle without sacrificing certain things. So it kind of gives me a good feeling that someone behind Rivian they know what they're doing and they're taking their time to do it. But those are kind of reasons why I bought this vehicle. I still have so much to learn about this vehicle. There's things I still need to dive into, and I probably will make another video, maybe not. But I hope you like this video. I know it's not a standard review video, or I know there's better review videos about this vehicle, but this is the way I'm going to do it. Other than that, I'm super excited to use this car. I want to take a long road trip on it, and I'm so grateful to have this vehicle. It's literally like a dream come true, and it's just, I can't wait to do so much with it. With that being said, I gotta go back to my house because I'm hungry, and it's also getting hot, and I also need to charge my car. So yeah, anyways, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Comment down below if you have any questions about the Rivian or like this particular launch edition, because it's a super cool edition, and so forth. So yeah, hope to catch you guys soon. I'm going to be in New Zealand for a while, but I have videos coming up that will kind of be aligned and post when I'm gone. So anyways, check you later, and catch you on the flip side.